Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the 2022 Senate elections and whether Republicans are probably going to be in for a rough night in the Senate, in these Senate races. Now, just disclaimer, obviously things can change. In 2020 originally, I was actually reading through my first 2020 Senate prediction. It was back in June of 2019. I had Alabama as a toss-up. I had Georgia, both races or actually there wasn't going to be a special election back then, I don't believe. I had the Ossoff race as likely Republican. I remember saying that Montana was not competitive. I said that Arizona was a toss-up. I had Colorado only as a lean Democratic seat. So, in 2020 the Democrats didn't really have their best case scenario in the Senate, but they did pretty well. They did all right in the Senate. And really, they were able to expand the battleground. They made states like Kansas competitive. They made states like Montana competitive. They were able to compete in Georgia. Both of those races, they raised a lot of money in South Carolina. They didn't really come close in there, but Alaska is another one that they made competitive that was not expected to be competitive. Kentucky, in some people's eyes, Amy McGrath raised a lot of money. So yeah. Now, really quickly, I just want to announce that a big video is going to be coming out soon. I think Friday is probably not going to be able to come out, but it should be able to come out probably over the weekend. It's going to be ranking the top 10 best presidents of the United States of America, so that'll be pretty cool. And yeah, so let's get started with the states that are not going to change at all. I think Washington, Oregon, California, the state of Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, New York, Connecticut, and Vermont are all safe for the Democratic Party. Same with Colorado at this point. I think, obviously, Vermont and Maryland could come into play. Like if Leahy retires in Vermont and Phil Scott runs, that could be, more competitive. In Maryland, if Larry Hogan runs, it could become competitive. But really, I don't see any of these seats becoming competitive in the near future. The Republicans are going to hold on to Utah, Idaho, North and South Dakota, Kansas, and Oklahoma. Although if Laura Kelly runs in Kansas, which she's not going to, that could become competitive. Missouri, I don't think Candor is going to run, so I'm going to put that as safe Republican. These states are going to be red. Alabama, Florida is going to be pretty safe for the Republicans. I mean, it won't be safe, but it'll be likely, and they won't really have to spend too much time here. I think the Democrats, if they run someone like Stephanie Murphy, that's a dumb idea because she's really holding a competitive House seat for them that they could lose if she's not the nominee. And, she'd just be losing to Rubio by slightly less than your average other Democrat, I guess. So I think the Democrats should not really pay much attention to the Florida Senate race. They should just run, I guess, a random state representative, and maybe if he does win and if he runs a good campaign, then hey, that'll be cool for them. But I think that they should not be trying to retire Rubio. Also, this Georgia Ossoff is going to be until 2026. Now, this is kind of our battleground. I think Alaska is interesting because Murkowski's probably going to get primaried, but I think she's going to hold, and I don't see the seat being too competitive for the time being. And even if she does lose a primary, it'll probably be, likely Republican anyway, so yeah. Now, Democratic targets, we know these. I think Iowa, I think Grassley's actually going to run again, even though he's a fossil. So I think that's actually going to be safe for the Republicans, but I think the Democrats obviously going to target Ohio. This Rob Portman seat, he's retiring those. So, the Democrats, I think Tim Ryan's going to run. He's kind of floated it. He's been teasing it, and I really do think that he can make this race more competitive. I think he can raise a lot of money. He's a good candidate. He's the best for the working class in Ohio. I mean, among the best at least. So I think Ohio is going to be on the Democrats' radar. Same with Pennsylvania. I think that right now Pennsylvania is probably the Democrats' best chance for a pickup. I mean, John Fetterman is really a good candidate. He has a suburban appeal somewhat. He has appeal to the moderates and the Bernie bros and, the rural voters. I don't see, no matter who the Republicans run, they're not going to get the rural margins that Trump got in 2020 and 2016, which is why I think Fetterman is definitely favored in Pennsylvania. He's a great candidate among the best for the Democrats in Pennsylvania. North Carolina, Jeff Jackson is probably going to get the nomination. Erica Smith is running for the Democrats, but she got destroyed by Cal Cunningham in that primary, and I think Jackson is a much better candidate than Cunningham, so North Carolina is another one of their targets. And lastly, Wisconsin is a Democratic target. Right now, I think of these races, I think Wisconsin is I think Pennsylvania and North Carolina have the best chance of flipping. Ohio, I didn't really bet on it. I actually wrote an article about that on Substack. Go check that out. I don't think Ohio is going to flip, but I think Wisconsin is kind of tilting in the Republicans' favor. It depends because Ron Johnson, I don't think Ron Johnson's going to get reelected, but if he retires, the Republicans could hold this seat depending on who they run. But it's definitely a Democratic target. This is a Biden state, although only by 22,000 votes. So, yeah. Now, the remaining states that I have not filled out are Republican targets, and I'll go through each and every one of these states and explain why the Republicans are not going to flip there. Now, starting with Nevada, I think Nevada is actually going to vote in the Senate. Spoiler alert: I think Nevada and Arizona are. I think Mark Kelly's going to win re-election in Arizona by more than Catherine Cortez Masto in Nevada. And I'll tell you why. Now, in 2016, Donald Trump won Arizona as a result of winning Maricopa County. He won it by 3%, so voted slightly to the left of the state as a whole. But, he had higher turnout from these Republican areas of the state like Yavapai County, Gila County, Graham County, Greenlee County is over there. And I believe this is Yuma County, La Paz County, and Navajo County up here. I'm forgetting the name of this county. Here, let's try to guess the county. Cochise County. Right? Yeah, that's it. All right. Bam. But I do think, oh my gosh, I sound like a demon there. That laugh was really cringe. But he had higher turnout from these areas. And, Clinton, she did well in Pima, which is where Tucson is. That's essentially the biggest safe blue county in the state. She got 224,000 votes there. Santa Cruz, she did good in Santa Cruz. She did well in Apache and Coconino County. But, really, Maricopa is what it came down to. And she ended up losing Maricopa County by 3%. And that kind of reflected the national vote of the state, or the vote of the state. She lost by 3.5. Now, in the 2016 Senate race, John McCain obviously won re-election in Arizona. He did very well in Maricopa. He won by 16% against Ann Kirkpatrick, who is now in the U.S. House of Representatives. And he was able to, come fairly close to winning in Pima County. He outran Trump. He got 46% of the vote in Pima. Trump got like 39. So, yeah. In Santa Cruz, he did better. Only by a little bit, though. He got 35% of the vote in Santa Cruz. Trump got 24. In Apache, Trump got 30. McCain actually ran behind Trump. That's interesting in Apache. And Coconino, I'm going to assume he also ran ahead of Trump. Yeah, he got 41 to Trump's 35. So McCain did very well in Maricopa because he's a moderate, independent type Republican. Now, Martha McSally in 2020, Martha McSally lost to Mark Kelly because she did pretty bad in Maricopa. She lost that county by 4%. And she lost to Mark Kelly. Because, she positioned herself as a very pro-Trump Republican in a state that did not like him. John McCain is definitely, I think, the most popular figure in Arizona right now, even, one among the most popular figures in Arizona history. And, Donald Trump called him a loser because he was captured by the Vietnamese in the Vietnam War, and John McCain was not a loser. He was a war hero. He was tortured. So I consider John McCain to be a war hero, and if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. But, yeah, now Maricopa... Mark Kelly beat McSally there, as I mentioned. And, Maricopa's the key to the state. Whoever wins Maricopa is going to win the state. So, yeah. And, hold on. Have I been talking about Arizona this whole time? Okay, whatever. We're going to do Arizona. So, as I mentioned, Arizona, I think Kelly, who won in 2020 against McSally, who was a horrible candidate, I think he's going to win again. I think he'll win by a similar margin, by the way. So, I think I'm going to put it in the lean D column. And I say this mostly because of the fact that I don't know who the Republicans will run. The Republican Party of Arizona has gone downhill. First of all, in 2010, they drew a dummy mander, meaning that, they thought they were smart and that they drew a gerrymander of Arizona to favor them. But in reality, by 2018, the Democrats held the majority in the Arizona delegation, 5-4, despite losing the popular vote in the House of Representatives twice. So that's kind of embarrassing for the Arizona Republican Party. They also reelected Kelly Ward as their chair recently, I think it was this weekend, actually. And Kelly Ward, since she's been the chair since, I think, 2016 or 2017, Kelly Ward has, in her career as Arizona GOP chair, she has lost them 2 Senate seats. She's lost them, I think, a net 2 House seats. And she lost the state to Joe Biden in 2020. And she's probably going to be the chair, but no matter who they run, I think they're doomed. And Kelly's a really good popular figure. Now in Nevada, I'm also going to rate it as lean Democrat. And I know I clicked Nevada first, then talked about Arizona. I don't know why I did that. That was really dumb of me, but whatever. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Now, Hillary Clinton in 2016 won Nevada, unlike Arizona, because she did well in Clark County, which is where 75% of the population is. That's Las Vegas. And she did better in Washoe County. She won Washoe County by only 1.3%, which is the equivalent of 2,500 votes, but she still won the county. And Washoe County is similar to Maricopa in that usually whoever wins Washoe wins the state. I think there are like a few, instances of Washoe voting for the loser. Washoe actually usually votes like 1% to the left of the state as a whole because Reno is a little bigger than the rural areas up here. I mean, like if you want to look at the precinct data for Washoe County, all the blue is in the Reno area of the state in the south, and then up here it's basically just Humboldt County, which is very red. And the Republicans in Nevada, obviously they rely on their rural support, as you can see the sea of red here, but they also they have a few cities that they campaign in. Like I know in 2018 Trump campaigned in Elko, which is 20,000 people strong. I've actually been to Elko. I think it's cool. And Elko County doesn't show you the cities, but Elko is like right here, I think over here. It's 20,000 people strong. And Trump campaigned in Elko for Dean Heller and Adam Laxalt in 2018. And this is, the biggest city that votes Republican primarily. Obviously, Las Vegas and Reno are Democratic areas of the state. The Republicans also have Winnemucca, which is in Humboldt County, as another one of their big, cities, or not big cities because it's literally 20,000 people, but I guess their voting basis. So they can find these votes in Humboldt. They can find these votes in Elko. They can find these votes in rural Nevada. And that's how they're going to win the state. But they haven't been getting those margins. Really, they haven't been getting those margins, and the Democrats are just running up in Clark County and winning Washoe, and that's what they're going to do again, because Washoe is a Democratic-leaning county. I mean, in 2020 there wasn't a Senate race, but if we go to the presidential race, let's go to the presidential race. Joe Biden did win. He ended up winning Washoe County by over 4%. So yeah, he also won Las Vegas by a slightly smaller margin than Clinton did. He won it by 9. Clinton won it by I think 10.5. But it's still enough because he did better in Washoe. He also kind of did better in Clinton than Clinton did in Carson City. So yeah. Now the Republicans, the only candidate who could actually beat Catherine Cortez Masto, I think, is the former governor whose name is Brian Sandoval. Sandoval is, a moderate candidate. He has appealed to both sides, and he won every county when he ran for re-election as governor in 2014, which was a red wave, but he's won Clark County, which was very impressive to me. So, yeah. And other than that, I don't know who the Republicans are going to run, and I think they're going to lose this race. So, yeah. Now, in Georgia, this is their other target, Raphael Warnock. I think he's going to probably still win by a lead margin as well. Let's see. In 2016, Hillary Clinton she actually won Burke County, which is hold on, I'm trying to look at something. Never mind. She actually won Burke County, which is interesting because Biden, Warnock, and Ossoff all lost Burke County. I also believe Stacey Abrams lost Burke County, but whatever. I just find that interesting that she won Burke County and lost the state, yet Democrats who've won the state lose Burke County. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Now Clinton, she had worse. I mean, she only got 68% of the vote in Fulton County, which, and if you want to take a look at Warnock's win, or John Ossoff's win, he got 72% of the vote in Fulton County. I think Ossoff did even better. He got like 74% of the vote in 73% of the vote in Fulton County. And then Joe Biden also did pretty well in Arizona. Okay, let's make our way down to Georgia, excuse me. Biden got 73% of the vote in Fulton County. So Clinton really could not. She didn't do as well in Fulton. I mean, she got 300,000 votes there. Now, Warnock got 354,000 votes than her. Or he got 354,000 votes. I think Ossoff probably got a similar margin, probably just a little bit less. He got probably like 345,000 votes, 350,000 votes. And Biden probably got even more. He probably got like 380,000 votes. So, yeah. Now, Fulton is where, and I think Abrams said she's probably going to run for governor again. There's like a 90% chance she runs to, and she's probably going to beat Kemp, to be honest. So I think that's going to help. Black turnouts going to be super high, which is the Republicans' nightmare in a state like Georgia, because Warnock and Abrams both being up for election. They're both black candidates who have had great turnout with African American, and they've also made inroads in Columbus. They've had higher turnout. They've had higher turnout in Augusta. They've also had inroads in the suburbs. And Kemp is a better candidate for the Actually, Kemp and Loeffler are similar for the suburbs, and the suburbs really turned against the Republicans. I mean, in 2016, I think the Republicans held Georgia very easily. Isaacson won re-election against Barksdale. Just look at this county map. I mean, Cobb County went for Isaacson over Barksdale. He won Cobb County by 11%, and then John Ossoff wins it by 12%. That's a 24% swing to the right. And Warnock probably won it by a similar margin. He won it by 14. So Cobb County swung against the Republicans. I mean, look at this map. Douglas, Isaacson got 36.5% of the vote in Fulton. That's unheard of for a Republican. Gwinnett, Isaacson won by 4, and yet it was a 20-point it was a 15-point Ossoff County. I think it was a 20-point Warnock County, if I'm not mistaken. It was a 16% Warnock County. So, yeah. Suburbs are trending against Republicans in Georgia. I don't see, who are they going to run? I mean, Major Taylor Greene will get destroyed. Kelly Loeffler's not, she might run again, but there's such some speculation, but she just lost in a runoff, and I have a hard time seeing her doing better. I think she'd probably lose by a bigger margin. Purdue's not going to run again. I think he's done with politics. So who are they going to run? Kemp's running for governor? I really don't know. I think Doug Collins is the only viable option, but he wouldn't do. I don't see him doing well in the suburbs. He's a very right-wing candidate. He'd do better in rural areas than Loeffler and Purdue, but he'd do worse in the suburbs. That's why I think Georgia's a lean D race right now. New Hampshire, I think New Hampshire is actually the only one of these states that the Democrats are in a position that they might actually lose as of right now. I think Sununu has a 60% chance of running, but if he doesn't run, it's a likely D state. If he does, it's a lean Republican state. New Hampshire was actually very close in 2016. Clinton won it by 2,000 votes. Biden did a lot better than Clinton in New Hampshire. Let's get out of here. Let's go to New Hampshire. I think he won every county except for Belknap and Coos County. But he lost Coos by only 6. He lost Belknap by 10. Clinton, she lost Coos by a lot more. She lost it by 9. She lost Belknap by 17. So New Hampshire, I mean, the Democrats have good performances there. In 2018, they won both the House seats that are both very competitive. And in 2020, they also, 2020, let's see the Senate race results. Oh, no, that's 2016. Oops. Maggie Hassan, by the way, she beat Kelly Ayotte. She's up for re-election. But in 2020, here we go. Shaheen won re-election here. She won every county, even Belknap, which is the Republican stronghold of the state, although by literally, she won it by, as you can see, less than 200 votes, but just whatever. And, Shaheen, she had a broad coalition. She had a lot of Trump voters on her side. I mean, Biden won the state by 7. She won it by over 15. So, yeah. Now, Sununu in 20... here, let's pull up the governor race. Here we go. Sununu, here, let's pull up the township results. Sununu did very well, as you can see. I mean, he only lost a few counties. So, yeah, he defeated Dan Feltz very easily. And, I think that there were a lot of split-ticket New Hampshire voters. There were Sununu, Biden, Shaheen voters. There were probably Trump, Sununu, Shaheen voters. There were probably even, I guess, Felt. Okay, I give up trying to make up voters. But the Sununu, he's a moderate Republican. He has a tremendous appeal to every group of voters, even progressive Democrats like him. Some of them do. So yeah, and that's why I think if Sununu does run, he'd probably make this a lean Republican race. But for the time being, Joe Biden won by 7 in New Hampshire in 2020. And I think we see a similar margin for Maggie Hassan if she runs against, the only declared Republicans are Don Bullock, who lost the primary in 2020, who's a horrible candidate because of, he's a very right-wing candidate. He's I guess, Doug Collins of New Hampshire. That doesn't bode well. New Hampshire's a very moderate state. They vote for moderate Republicans and Democrats. So, yeah. And that's why I think New Hampshire's going to stay blue. This is the most elastic state in that it has the most upside for Democrats out of these 4 states we talked about. I think they can win it by a 10-point margin, potentially. But they also have the ability to lose it by a 10-point margin because Sununu is so popular if he does run. So that's it. This is a very long video. I want this to be 10 minutes. It's going to be 20 minutes. So thank you for watching. Check out the links in the description. I'm going to ask you, please just challenge. Click one of the links in the description, whether it be Twitter, Discord, newsletter, Patreon. Join the channel if you want to as a member. And yes, thank you. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.